What's going on today, guys? So this video is a video I've been wanting to do for a little while. I need to do some maintenance and some upgrades to the old CL200. Well, because I've been a little rough on it, as you can see. Okay, I was planning to do this last night, but I was tired, so here we are, the next day. Not that what I just did wasn't the next day. No, that was still today. I'm kind of behind on everything. Today is April 1st, April Fool's Day. I just signed up for the Florence Grand Prix. Flint Hills Grand Prix? I always get that confused. Flint Hills, Bent Rims, Motorcycle Club. I'm pretty sure it's the Florence Grand Prix. I raced this bike last year. You can't see it, but it is. I was number 202. I was originally going to run my Kawasaki KD 175. I'd spent the couple months before that trying to repair it, rebuild it, and I really shouldn't have dug that deep into it, and then I did, and well, let's put it this way: it ran, but I couldn't get it out of neutral, and it still won't come out. Well, I haven't messed with it. It's disassembled in the basement right now, and that is where it sits. If you're curious, that was a 10 millimeter. Take that out. So, I figured I would not spin today, which I was planning to spend today working on it. I'll hopefully get some time tonight. I need to weld the case. I need to, again, I need to figure out why it won't shift out of neutral, and I need to rebuild the crank because the crank is, I couldn't get it to true up. You're supposed to be within 1/1000th, 0.001. But unfortunately, it was giving me fits, and I cannot get it to true up past 6 thou, which would be kind of vibraty. Which, would you really actually notice it on a 2-stroke? I don't know. I don't want to tear the motor up because, well, it's kind of sentimental. I spent a lot of time riding that motorcycle with my grandfather. He actually gave me the bike when I was in high school. After he gave me his parts bike, which is a 74 F7. He had actually, the 74 F7 actually ran when I was little. I remember riding on that one as well. I still have that bike. I spent a lot of time trying to get it running. Actually, in college, I disassembled most of the motor. I never split the case because I was kind of a little leery of that. When you're young, you're kind of leery about stuff, sometimes. So I never really messed with it because I had heard some horror stories about disassembling and all the stuff falling out. Now I don't really care. I just do it. So, yeah. I think that has to come out as one unit. Shoot. Okay, we'll twist this all back out. So, yeah. Maybe this... This is actually the first bike I completely rebuilt. I split the case. Hondas are different. The case splits like this and like this. Most other bikes, so at least Kawasaki's. I'd grown up just mostly knowing Kawasaki's my whole life because that's about all I rode. I mean, I got that bike from my grandpa, so I dealt with that Kawasaki and another Kawasaki, and then I bought a 72 F7 when I was in college. I have a storage unit. There's storage units right next to the school, and this was actually the first Honda I'd ever bought. Oh, I'd bought an F11 as well, right before college. It didn't run. I believe it was locked up. It was locked up solid. I don't know what happened. The gentleman told me it had turned over. I was actually, if you see Anthony in my videos and know him, that was one of our first adventures together. I called him up on a Saturday, said, "Hey, you want to go look at a motorcycle?" He said, "Sure." And ever since then, we been traveling around. Well, not so much lately, but whenever I need help or he needs help. That's kind of odd. Why is this loose? He's usually the first person I call to see if he wants to go. Bushing's gone. He's usually the first person I call to see if he wants to go hang out. Or Charles. Charles is the other one. If you watch any of my other videos, you'll see both of them. Drawer. Oh. You know why I can't find the wrenches? Because they're up here. What size is this? 8mm, 9mm switched. It is an 8mm. I did drain the oil on it, so should have that going for us. You learn a lot after you do your first rebuild, which I did on this. Fortunately, Hondas are very forgiving on a lot, so I don't know why that bolt was very loose. That's worrisome. I must not put it together tight. I didn't buy any gaskets for this, so hopefully I don't tear one. I probably just jinxed myself, to be honest. Let's take these screws out. Hopefully I can get this clutch done quickly, relatively shortly. I don't think I've ever been inside this clutch case, this side of it, since I put it on. I had a QA50, which I think I did some videos on early on. I was in and out of that thing trying to get it to work. I got it to work really well, actually, to be honest. It would never pop out of second gear. That was kind of a common issue with those. And it turned out I'd gotten it fixed. And ended up trading it for a 63 Chevy 2, which I think was a better deal. I'm going to set these out the way I can remember how they go. Scoot over a little bit more. I have to pick this all up tonight. If I want to ride the Charles bike, I need to be able to get it out. Here. Oop. Looks like long ones on top, shorts on bottom. Ow, doggone it. Alright. If you're curious about the bolt layout, that is how it goes. Kickstarter over here and then the going back around. So, let's see if we can tap this guy off here real quick. Looks like it's kind of loosening up. See it moving. I'm pretty sure I got all the screws out. Yeah, we're leaking oil. Let me get an oil drain hand real quick. I should have just had one to begin with. Oil drain, here it is. Oh, it doesn't quite cover it all, but it'll do, I think, for what we need. I'm going to put this camera back. See, still, it is recording. Hopefully it's recording video. Oh no. Right there. What's up front? Okay, come on. Must be down there. Screwdriver there or something. Let's see what we got. Trust the one? Yep. Is it lipstick? Sure it's not. Hopefully it's not. That would be weird. Hopefully it's not pulled out, which is great. But it's going to tumble. I'll reach here. Yeah, there's no pins. Okay. This ring was a little wonky, so I get the gas to come off without ripping. It looks like it's stuck to the case. That's always the fun part. Disassembling something, figuring out which side the gasket wants to hang on to. Let's see here. Come on. You can go. You got it. There you go. Okay. Just loosen it up. There's a bunch of sludge in here. That's like chocolate aluminum. Where's that from? There. That's not usually a good sign. That chunk's stuff in here. A lot of dirt and debris. Well, since I got it off, now I know get the other side is. There's a gasket. It's got oil. If it was a non-oil side, I wouldn't worry so much about it. I guess it's oil soft too. I don't know if we're using a little bit actually though. I'll give it a good. We're watching. Keep starting to back seriously. It looks like everything's good. I was hoping that the actual instrument. It looked internal to the actual transmission. I don't really mess with that. I hope I'm kind of mission. I hope I'm pooping there. I don't know. So I'm kind of looks like I won't be fixing that. So I'll just put paste for that. So anyway, it is this point. So let me clean this out. Give it a brake clean, clean off. I'll probably pull this flush out. I remember how to do that. It's been a little bit. It's pretty good. We read how to do that. Okay, we're good though. we'll see how this goes here. Hopefully I can get it all situated a little bit. See what happens. So, saving for more. Okay, back at it. Just went and bought another gasket. Actually, to be honest, I bought a whole gasket set because the gasket alone for the clutch cover was like $11 plus I think the cheapest was like $4 or $5 shipping. Well, I could get $17 for a complete gasket set with free shipping. So I just bought a complete gasket set for the whole motor. Because you never know when you're going to need more parts or gaskets. Because if I dig into something else and it breaks, you know, might need that. I do need to replace the, you can't see it, but the behind the tack cover, the points cover. It's the tack side that leaks. So, anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and replace the clutch. Work on cleaning up the rest of the parts. Get that ready for next weekend, because obviously it's probably going to show up next weekend, which is Easter weekend, maybe the following Monday. So anyways, I got my genuine Honda clutch discs. I have I thought I had the paperwork for the other one in here. I do somewhere. The other one is number wherever it went. I guess I don't have it. I thought I had it in here. A little paperwork for it. Oh, here it is. So here's the part number for the other part. The clutch discs. Now these clutch discs have been soaking in oil. Actually, 2050? Yeah, 2050. That's some old oil I've had. They've been soaking in these oil bath for probably like a month and a half, maybe 2 months now. I bought them quite a while ago. Actually, I bought them over Christmas break. And, yeah, they've been sitting. I was planning to do this a long time ago, as you could tell by how long it's taken me to get to this point. But a lot of stuff has come up between now and then. So, we're finally getting around to it, which is fine. Kind of curious what size tire. I have spent a lot of money on parts for the Cowie. So this kind of gets the back burner. Although, I kind of want to ride it, because it is technically the only street legal bike I have. I guess the GT750 is street legal. It's tagged. I don't have insurance on it right now, though, so something I need to take care of. But it also, if you look at my other videos, my GT750 likes to pump oil out of the vent hole. So it builds up pressure in the crankcase and then just spews it out. So can't really ride it too well. Now, something I've learned with these discs is I had an F7, and I don't know if I didn't adjust it right or the discs had like a film glazed on of oil. But I learned to clean these bad boys up before I put them in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because they do have a coating of oil on them. And I don't want to have a slipping clutch after I put it in, because the first clutch job I did was on that 72 F7 I was talking about earlier. The clutch slipped pretty bad. And I put a new clutch in it, and it slipped like crazy. It slipped worse. You'd be riding, I was riding it pretty hard, and you'd get going, you'd whip that throttle open, and all of a sudden it just wind up. And eventually I took it apart again, which if you'd ever done an F7 or an F-Series Kawasaki or the following generation like the KD175, you have to take the two-stroke oil pump off. Then you got to bleed all that and go through that process again. Not as fun as this is, or easy either. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the discs now. That way they're ready. And we'll pop all this off, put the new clutch in, and that'll probably be the end of the video for this weekend. I'll cover everything up and wait till I get that gasket. I think I need a 14mm bolt for this. I'm going to pull it open because I haven't done that yet. I think all that black goo I've had is clutch material. So I'm going to clean that out, make sure it's cleaned out of the sludge trap here, and then kind of go from there. See how it is next weekend. Again, I can't really fix this. I thought it was like the Kawasaki where it's the whole mechanism is right here. I don't even know if you can see where I'm pointing. You can. So, yeah, that's kind of where that is. is, and then hopefully I'll be able to test ride it. You can kind of see a little test ride video because I do got a new camera mount. I actually bought one so I can clip it to the swing arm of that trials bike, so you can kind of get a interesting, fun view of it going up and down. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. So, anyways, I'm gonna go clean these. I'll come back and then we'll put it together and see how it turns out. Okay, so here we are at it with the clutch. I got the clutch discs cleaned up, the metal ones. There was a slight film on them or something, because you could see as I shot brake clean on it, it beat it off really fairly quickly. Not like a kind of like when you put Rain-X on a windshield. So I usually just take a little Scotch-Brite, run it over it after I brake clean it, and then brake clean it again, and wipe down with the blue rag to make sure everything's cleaned up. Let's see, it's been a while since I've done. Well, it's been since 2014 or 2015 since I've done this clutch. So hopefully I remember how to do it all. Usually these things are pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not super worried about it. Got a blue rag down here to set everything on. Try to keep everything somewhat clean. I bought some, a side note about clutch springs. I was going to buy clutch springs for this, but they're discontinued. I bought some for that Kawasaki, that F7 that I did a clutch on, and they were actually lighter. They were supposed to be like 25% plus. They are actually a lot lighter than the clutch springs on my KD, my trials bike. Or not my KD, my KT. So that was kind of surprising to me. I think there's a big nut under here. If I remember right. Hold this all. I probably should have looked at a part schematic before I pulled this apart, but oh well. Here we are. Alright, bolts there. Pull this off. Nope, snap ring. I don't know that I have a snap. I think these are original springs. Boy, these are crusty. Okay. This all still looks pretty good. Alright, snap ring pliers out. Oh, where are thou? Here they are. Which ones are these? I bought years ago. I don't even know how old I was. I think I may have been in high school, but there was an older gentleman who was retiring from being a mechanic. I think he was on disability, to be honest. And I went to a garage sale and I bought a lot of his tools. Some really great tools. He sold them at really reasonable prices, and then his sister got involved, and the next time they had him like a week later, and all of a sudden everything had jumped crazy, and he was no longer there for some reason. So I think she had almost new prices on used tools, and her claim to it was, well, I'm saving you the trip to go buy it. I think I asked about a Pittsburgh breakover bar, and she told me, well, I'm saving you the trip from driving to Harbor Freight. And I thought, man, okay, never mind. I don't really need it that bad. Okay, here's going to be the trick, remembering to stack it. Alright, so I think I can pull it this way. I need to clean this clutch housing out. I can see it is very dirty. So we'll get everything moved apart here. Here we go. These discs are sticking. There we go. That looks pretty good. There's no lip, it's used, that's for sure. Alright, I need to clean parts now. And I need to remember that this side is down. Ooh, you can see they've been sticking. Huh. Okay. Thought they had expander rings in here. Cowies do. Alright, so let me clean one piece at a time here. That way I don't get confused on what goes where. I can restack it up and reassemble it. So I'll be right back. It's kind of hard to see in here, but what it looks like from sticking, it is not. That is actually pitting. Most of this bike was locked up when I got it. The only thing that moved on it was the front wheel, and that was not very... You had to be very persuaded to do that. The rear brakes were locked up. The rear chain was froze solid. It was in gear. The transmission was rusty. And the cylinders were seized. Talk about a pain in the butt bike. We actually had to carry it over an electric fence because they had goats, and it was over by the barn. Me and my dad. I'm very fortunate that he is a... he doesn't really like my motorcycles, but he puts up with them. I hear a lot of comments I should sell them, but they are kind of part of the family now. He's just not a big motorcycle guy, which is fine. So I'm going to build up this clutch plate stack here with it sitting here. So first one was oil ring, or that. I'll put these other ones here. There we go. Next was this. Then it's a oil. And this. And it was another disc. You can tell these are very oily. I should let them drain down. And this, another. Oh man, my hands is covered in oil now. This, and then this, the last one. This on. One last oil soaked one. Actually, I have kind of a mess sitting here now. And that's the clutch. Now I'm going to go clean this up, and we'll put it back together, and I'll clean this all out. Okay, so while cleaning this, I don't know why I say okay whenever I start these, I did notice, I'm pretty sure these are riveted in. This was like it on my KD. I replaced it. Yeah, and haven't ran the KD, but I'm going to head and look for a newer one. Actually, maybe I can just pull it off. I think I can just pull it off, to be honest. I think this is just a washer on here. Yep. Oh, no! Hopefully I don't screw anything up here. I don't think I will. I'm curious, it's not bolted in. Yeah, they're rivets. So, I probably ought to look at getting a new one of these at some point. If I'm going to do that, I'm probably going to replace a lot of the other clutch components that were not that great. You can see in here this is very wore. This is a very heavily abused bike. Previous owner told my dad the story because my dad works with the previous owner, hence how we found out about it. Actually, it's a long story about our relationship to this owner. It's good. It's not bad. But he said he remembers fondly of riding this many miles at a time. We're talking like 50, 60 miles one way to go to the next biggest town down the road. Oh, I should have done this a little different. But we'll see if we get this lined up. Some people like puzzles. I deal with goofy clutches. Okay, clutch is in almost. I threw away my rag. My hands are all oily now. Okay, so that thing, I'll put this little piece of plastic down here as it oozes out. I'll put the clutch pin back, or the ring back in. I can't physically see where it goes though, so hopefully this clutch is the right clutch. Should be. It was all the right part numbers. See if I can see it with my flashlight. Oh, where art thou? Oh no, it's there. You can see it. It's just barely there. I was in it. Right there. Yeah, that's it. Alright, I'm going to wipe these down, put them up real quick while we're still leaking oil. And then we will... That's kind of how my old bike thing goes, is I start working on one thing, find something else broke, so I buy parts for that to fix. And it just kind of goes down the line. I tear into stuff as I get time and effort. Put these together. This is going to be kind of fun, I think. I don't remember how this went. I mean, I remember how it went. The problem is I don't remember how hard it was. They reach. Oh, they'll reach. So... one in. I can find it. Okay, and then this one together as well. So a heads up, this little plate has a little hook on the back side here. Kind of keep the springs. I think it's supposed to keep them inward. Yep, looks like everything's lined up. Flip the ratchet the right way, and we'll start snugging stuff up. I'm going to have to look up the torque specs on this and kind of see where it's at. I want to say it's supposed to be like 11 inch-pounds or something like that. I'm not quite calibrated today, so I also don't want to take that cover off 30 times. So put it down on my to-do list for this week. And get going from there. I think this'll... No, it's still... You can still see it's pretty loose, so... That's something that'll have to be addressed at some point. I see my fuel line is cracked also up here. I don't think you can see where I'm pointing, but my fuel line where it comes out of the petcock is cracked. So that'll need attention. I think the other one might be as well. When they designed this, this was not the most easiest routing they could have done. Maybe I did it goofy. I don't know. I can very well have messed that up. So, can't necessarily blame them. But, for today, this is as far as I can get, so I'm quit my video here for now. I will come back to this video here later next weekend when I get, maybe I'll do it later this week depending on how the weather is and how everything's going. I will replace all this. Maybe if I get the gasket, I was thinking I got it through Amazon, but I didn't. Amazon sometimes gets it here in a couple days, so, but I could have done that, but it was like it was close to 30 bucks, and I think I paid, what did I say, 20, 17, something like that. So I wasn't gonna pay $10 extra just to get it here in 2 days. That's no sense in doing that. That's a waste of money for me. I'll just deal with it and continue on as we go get stuff. So I'm gonna put a bag on this so that way it quits dripping. Actually, I'll put this diaper here, my homemade hand diaper, and I'll put a bag over it and we'll slide it to the side so we can bring you another KT250 video for April Fool, or well, it'd be Easter weekend is when this one will get dropped. April 7th, because this video won't be done. So I'll continue on and see how this goes. Okay, here we are, a week later, Easter weekend. This will, if you watch my channel a lot, this will play into a video that will come out here probably in July. I don't know when I'll publish it. Regards another motorcycle. Anyways, so went and got a M8 by pitch thread is 1.25 to pull off the centrifugal oil filter housing. Went, and I don't know if you can see it, but I got number 52 O-rings, which I believe are the correct size. We got the gasket set, complete gasket set, even though I only need the one. I'll most likely need some gaskets later. I checked out some vendors on eBay. Most of them say there is slight play in this, but one even said not enough to measure. So I'm just going to run what I have. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up. I've been working on cleaning out the sludge trap, which I'll hold up this rag for you. It is, well, it had sludge in it. You can see the chunks. Most of it got dropped down into my oil pan here. I'm going to give it a, well, I'm going to give it a wipe down with a rag, make sure that's pretty good. And then, like I said, I will double check these, and then we'll fix put a new O-ring on the filter, put it all back together, and we will continue on with putting the clutch cover back on. And then I'll have to go through the whole clutch adjustment procedure, so we'll see how this works out. We'll continue on here, so stay tuned for more. Well, either I got sent the wrong O-ring or I bought the wrong O-ring because, well, put it this way, the new O-ring I bought fits inside of the other O-ring. So that's kind of a bummer because I've reused this one. I think this one's pretty original. So I'm going to have to use it again. Not that I want to, but at the moment that's all I got. And I will have to disassemble this whole side at some point again. It's still pretty pliable. It fits way better. So I think I'll run with it for the time being. Let's see if it fits how it fits. It feels like it's fitting better. Let's see here. Maybe it's just, no, it can't be stretched. I think it's supposed to be the next size bigger. So, we'll lube it up here. Let me go get some grease, and we'll put it all back together and see how it rides. May have to make this video a little bit longer, or make it last another week or so. So, here we go. Okay, so I have to put in another order from Rocky Mountain ATV here soon, and I will just purchase another one of these. Put a little grease on it. Should help it at least. And I'll figure out what's going on with these O-rings. So I did quite a bit of research on that. And it's like it's several dollar cost difference, but if I buy one, I can figure out what size the correct size it is, which it should be a number 52. Should be. But obviously, something isn't quite right. So there's my big screwdriver. So I'm going to need to look into why that is, and then probably have to buy a new it's not quite square in there, so we'll fix this real quick. There we go. We will get this all fixed. I need to buy a new one of these anyways, so okay, and that is snug. Yep, that's as snug as I want to get before it strips. Alright, so that is back together. Need an O-ring and a new cover, and we need to look at getting a new clutch setup. I'm going to have to figure out how to label this and not lose it. These are kind of useless at this point, so I'll set them aside. I went and bought some more O-rings for the other side because the other side does do a little leaking every now and then, and I've been kind of worried about that. Anyways, where are we at here? We need to make sure those are snug, and then we're ready to put the cover on, I believe. Some of these tools. Grab the right tool. There it is. And this is the right one. I believe that was a 10 millimeter. It is. I got it snug. I put my screwdriver up a little too soon. This. Alright. Came out, had it on top. Alright. Snug. 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 Perfect. We are doing pretty good right now. Hopefully. Alright. And get this up. Alright, now onto the gasket set. See if we can find the right gasket. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to store these now that I may even just buy another gasket set just to have, as I have a couple 175s I haven't started it on yet. I am a man of multiple projects, a lot of stuff going on at once. When I say a lot, I have quite a bit. Well, it was the biggest gasket in here, I believe. It's the bottom one, the one I need. There we go. Pulled everything out. I believe. I don't remember how this goes, to be honest. I'm gonna have to. Let's see here. I'll figure it out one of these times. I figured it out right here. All right. And it goes like this. There it goes like that and that. All right. Let's find a big envelope for these gaskets. Set those there. Now, I'm going to do the old grease trick. If you don't know what that is, that's putting a dab of grease on this. Kind of keep it where you want it. It's not RTV, so it's not water. I mean, it's oil soluble, because it is oil. Really thick oil. One could say, back here. Maybe this is synthetic grease. The biggest problem is maybe this bottom, I think. Put a little down here. Make sure the gasket's kind of halfway where I want it. I don't know why I'm whispering. Alright. And there we go. Now, let's see if we get this cover on. I did, when I was scraping the gasket on this cover, I managed to drop all the screws out, so I'm hoping I figured out where they go. If not, well, we'll know here shortly. Oh, why is this in the way? Push that up. Push that down. This. How did I do that? Okay. I'll take the dipstick out so it doesn't get bent. That's still loose. I think that one goes there. I could be wrong. There we go. This video is going to be called Watch Me Fight CL200 cover. I think I'm going to loosen it up some more here. Give myself the most advantage that I can get. Because it went in. Oh, is it catching on this one bolt? Surely not. There's another bolt. We may have to go look at Partzilla to see where I messed up. Oh boy. There we go. And it is almost on. Let's get the shaft lined up. The spring clocked the right way. And gotta be close to where you need to be. The front is, why isn't the rear? Pin is not going in the way it should. Well, all my hardware is out here now. Okay. All right, we're on. Mostly. All right, so I lost all my hardware out of the bike. I'm going to look up on Partzilla where all the hardware goes. I should have made a cutout. I'm pretty sure that one goes there. But we'll double check. I don't want to strip something out. So I know I got shorter length. These are the same length. Same length. Shorter. The same length. We have, it's time of the year for kittens, and we have kittens. Those are JIS. Same length. This one's actually the longest. And I'll come back and then I'll put this together. Right. I'll be back. I added side note regarding that oil filter O-ring, or the centrifugal O-ring. 46 by 2 millimeters. Okay, so what I did was I kind of got an idea and then I put them all in, and they all have about the same equal length out. So I'm going to go ahead and, my kickstart steel is coming out. I'm going to have to push that back in. The battery's about ready to die, so I need to go swap that, but I'm going to get these tightened up, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I noticed that my front brake light wiring was kind of routed not great, and it was getting caught up on my clutch lever. So another issue I got to figure out here, since I got this all semi-disassembled, is the routing of my clutch cable, as every time I turn to the left, it tightens the cable up because it's stretching it, and essentially it pulls in the clutch, which kind of stinks when you make a left-hand turn and all of a sudden you don't have any power, so you have to straighten back out. So I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I'm gonna have to figure out how this wraps around here. Maybe it crosses the top of the tank, but I'm gonna have to go do some research on that before I plug this all back in, as it's probably, this would be the time to fix it now. I say that even though I kind of just didn't fix anything with the issues in here, all of them, but it is what it is right now. And I'll fix it when I get some time and the right parts. So get this stuff off. That's that. Okay. So it looks like the only thing I need to put on is the kickstart and the clutch cover, but I need to get the clutch cover and everything fixed up. And let's go check out, see if we can figure out how the routing goes for. Okay, so this video is actually going to take a turn for the worse, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and get the parts I need in here. I'm a little worried I may have pulled that oil pump setup off. I'm not sure if I did or didn't when I was messing with the clutch. I'm hoping I did it. I think it's clipped onto the back, and that will allow it to not come off when I tried to pull the clutch hub or the clutch assembly. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and buy one of those. The cable I've been running forever, I believe, because it's supposed to clip in up here on the head. After doing a lot of research, it clips in up here, which would make sense why that grommet's there. But my problem is, when I got it here, it's like an inch short. So I think originally the cable I bought is too short. So I'm gonna go ahead, I think, and purchase the basket. I'll buy a new oil filter cap, get the O-rings coming, and see if I can get a new cable the correct length. Because otherwise, this is all for nothing. And this is the time to do it because the gasket won't be stuck to the engine block or the case because it hasn't had any heat or oil. It just has that grease holding it and the dowel pins. So I think I'm gonna just go call it what it is, and continue on getting the parts and then revamping this video again. I probably won't show that I pull this apart, and you'll end up back where I am now, because I feel like that is going to be the easiest way to do it. Or I'll just speed it up really fast. So here we go. So got everything back together, Kickstarter's on. Now time to set the cable. So if you remember earlier in the episode, I had issues with every time I'd make a left-hand turn, the clutch cable would wrap around the steering stem and engage the clutch, making it kind of difficult to make a nice sharp turn. So, so what I did was I went to, just started searching the internet, and I found David Silver Spares has a cable. It's silver, but that's kind of the original color that the bike came with, but it is a bit longer. So I'll give you guys the part number. Again, David Silver Spares is where I got it. So I'm going to put this on, and we'll get it set and hopefully get it running here shortly. Oh, I got to put oil in it. Don't want to forget that. So here we go. Well, I didn't grab my helmet mount, and I realized I need to fix the mirror because it is just like banging into my arm here. We got the 200 out on the road. The camera's kind of wonky because it's on the handlebar mount I used for the race. I know the battery's dead. I did buy a new one yesterday, so hopefully that that comes in here shortly. I'm going to put it in second gear because I don't think the kickstart's going to just kick the rear turn signal. I don't think the kickstart's going to play nice. Darn camera mount won't tighten up any time. There it goes. going to have to. My brake seems loose now. I realize my center stand for some reason. Anyways, I got fuel. Flip to the reserve. So, choke's on. We'll just put it in second gear and give her a push and see what happens. So we get the fire off here. Come spring. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, goggles are fogging over already. That battery's dead. Clutch works though. Beginning to wonder if I'm out of fuel. I should probably check that before I come running all the way down here. Well, I can tell you the clutch works, and that's where I got fuel. That was a big point of the video. I know the battery is dead, so I left the battery in the bike over the winter, which is not the brightest idea, but can't change that now. So give us one more go before I head home and see if we get this thing to fire off. Flip to reserve again. It's got fuel, so I'm not too worried about it. Here we go. It's a power issue now with the electricity.